talk about the fashion element here.
Yes.
What is generally a good, and I'm sure both of them are being coached on what to wear, but like what is
Absolutely.
generally a good look for going into a trial? And is there like a baseline rule for men and women, or does it depend on what one is fighting for or being accused of?
It 100% depends. I mean, there to a certain extent, right? I mean, generally speaking, you want people to be dressed like properly for court, right? You don't want somebody coming in wearing booty shorts and, and a crop top. But you would prefer somebody to come in looking, relatively put together, like they're not a mess, but, maybe more conservative than you might otherwise expect. But it also really, really depends on what's going on in the case, who these people are, because a lot of that is also trying to connect with the jury. Because like I said, they don't really have too many opportunities to actually talk to them. So there are several ways that they can subtly communicate with them through their facial expressions or through their clothes. So with these two in particular, they're Hollywood, right? And we're in Fairfax, Virginia, which is not exactly a small town. It's just outside of DC. So, being used to there being high profile people maybe in the neighborhood is one thing, but people might have a lot of biases against Hollywood. So having these people come in and try to present themselves in a way that is relatable, but doesn't seem fake relatable. Amber has a different calculus than Johnny because Johnny is a superstar. Who doesn't know who Johnny Depp is, right? So there's a certain calculus for Johnny that's different because everybody kind of knows he's a little bit eccentric. He can get away with all the rings on his fingers, and wearing his tinted glasses that kind of look like he's wearing sunglasses, and his long hair and whatnot, because it's like, he's an actor, he's a rock star, he's been around for a long time, and people know that he's a quirky guy, he's eccentric. Amber
Nobody's gonna
Heard,
be like, Johnny, you have to get a haircut for this. Sorry.
yeah, like it would be weird if he came in like with a buzz cut and just completely, tied up,
Yes, you'd be like, did something happen? Like if he came in with a very close crop, you'd be like, oh, is he okay?
Yeah, exactly. But with Amber, it's a different calculus because you might just kind of look at her as more general Hollywood rather than a superstar. And that's not to be a knock on Amber Heard, but it's also been a common refrain with a lot of these witnesses. Like the police that responded to one of these incidents they were like, we didn't know who Amber Heard was. We saw her. We didn't know who she was. And we didn't know Johnny Depp was involved because he wasn't there. So it's one of those things that's like, it's kind of funny because you're like, oh, this is somebody who seems to really care about people knowing who she is. But it's not exactly working out, it seems. But
what an insult to just have people saying over and over, we never heard of you. We didn't know who you were.
yeah, seriously. But it's,
so hair back, always hair back.
I mean,
she can't do a blowout, I guess.
It could be down. It could be down for sure. But she's had some hairstyles that are like very kind of like ornate, like these very beautiful braids and updos and stuff, but they very much look like she's got a stylist doing them. It does not look like, if there are people that are, that are blue collar on the jury, that's not exactly very relatable to them. Even middle class might look like, I might get my hair done like that for a wedding or for, some special event, and maybe this is a special thing for her because obviously it's a very important, series of days for her.
It is an event. Yeah,
it is. But it is one of those things that I've very much worried about on her behalf, is that she could be alienating people by looking a little bit too Hollywood.
Too fancy. Yes, I was looking for this double braid look. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she had the double braids wrapped around in this like the swoop, the sort of S swoop.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful otherwise, but it's not exactly something that I would recommend for court. I generally would recommend something a little bit simpler. And she's gotten better and better as the trial has gone on. I feel like she's finally gotten to a place where she looks pretty decent. But there was one of her early on looks was, I basically said she was Dr. Elsa Schneider from Indiana Jones. I mean, she looks just like her with the braid and a very, very German looking, kind of like, it was like a very militaristic kind
very
of like buttons
Helga.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was like today, it was like falling out. It was like done. It was like,
yeah,
a little messier today. I guess as
Yeah.
the case goes on, she might look more
And the
banged
other
up.
thing and the other thing about her clothes too that's been getting a lot of attention is the fact that she looks like she's copying Johnny's look.
I've
It's
heard
like
that.
he shows up to court with one look one day, and then the next day she's like generally speaking copied something of his. It seems like in the last couple days that has generally stopped, but it was like especially at the very beginning. I mean, the first day he had a black tie with a B on it. The next day she literally wore exactly that.
Is this trolling? I mean, could that be getting in his head or something?
That's what people are saying, that maybe it's to get into his head. But the problem with that is if the jury notices that, they're going to catch, it's going to draw their attention too. And they're going to have a lot of questions about that. And especially when we're talking about some of these other diagnoses that have come up for Amber. We had an expert that diagnosed her with borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. And it the mirroring thing was not exactly something that was a highlight on that day, but it sounded like something that maybe somebody with BPD could potentially do is to mirror someone like that and to follow their wardrobe like that. So it was not a particularly good idea in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, what are the odds? I also have a tie with a B on it. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay. Interesting. So Johnny looks a little bit better. He's higher points in terms of fashion so far.
Yeah. And in the beginning, him with the hair down was a little bit more of a shaggy look. I didn't quite prefer that. If I could have given counsel on that one, I would have asked him to have it back from the beginning. The ponytail has been great ever since he got into that look, and his suits have been fitting nicely. He's been looking great. So and he's been relatively consistent too. That's why there's been less talk about what he's wearing than what Amber's wearing. It's not a sexism thing. It's literally just she gives us more material to talk about.
You have to pick a look and you have to stick with it. And our advice to Amber Heard would be like, just do your own hair, girl. Drop your stylist. Tell her to go home. Just throw it up in a messy bun that says I'm desperate here. For sure. Diana G. AH copied Dr. Curry hairstyle today.
That's what people were saying, because Dr. Curry had a little bit of a messy bun kind of look. And that's a bit what Amber had today. So she has a tendency to maybe copy someone in the room, depending on who's been in there.
Oh my God. Look at this. Yeah, this is the messy bun.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, I woke up late and I ran here. That's the look here.
Yeah.
Which I would prefer that over like the, Princess Leia buns or whatever.
Yeah.
Fancy Helga braids.
Yeah. And the first time that we actually saw, or I guess the second time, because the first time we saw braids was when she was Dr. Elsa Schneider. But the next day she had the braids and then she was wearing all black. And I was like, she looks like Darth Leia. It was just like, it was like so severe and so strong. And that's the thing too, is that like I was really questioning what their strategy was overall because of her clothing choices. Because it's like, when you're filing a lawsuit, it's like, what is our theme going to be? What is this really all about? And I understand that, like, from her perspective, she wants to consider herself a Me Too warrior. She wants to be, this strong feminist. She's got a lot of photos all over her social media of like her standing in front of either, Congress or the Supreme Court or something, with her fist raised and wearing all black and like, yeah, yas, woman.
Or in front of a Planned Parenthood, like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like with that, she wants to be this strong female feminist, that's a representative of the movement or whatever. But it's like, for this kind of a case, that's not what's at issue. What's at issue is whether you are the aggressor, whether he is the aggressor. These are all questions that are coming out that the jury is looking at. And if you're coming out looking like a warrior that's very severe and strong and cold, that's not going to play very well to this question. And when he's saying you chopped off part of his finger by throwing vodka bottles at him.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
He's like, where did they find the part of the finger?
Somewhere in the rubble. This happened. This is the Australia incident. She maintained.
I'm so behind.
Yeah. So and the thing is, it's kind of messy, because what he told the ER doctor was that he cut it himself with a knife. And what he explained was like, I didn't want to get her into trouble, which is what a lot of people who are abused will say. Like they instinctively want to protect their abuser because they understand that they will have repercussions and they love this person. And then also on another level, like this person could then come and abuse them even more for speaking out against them. So, you know, there's a lot that goes on in this kind of psychology. But like, you know, it is problematic for a lawsuit when you have, he told somebody one thing and then he told another person another thing. But the way in which his finger was like, you know, lopped off in one respect, is a bit more consistent with like a jagged, you know, metal shard, like debris came in and took it off rather than a clean knife cut. But what she says happened apparently was that he, in his own rage, became this like drunken high monster and like ripped a phone off the wall and like slammed it on the counter or something like that. It was some kind of a smash injury or crush injury is what she alleges, that he did it to himself. And, you know, he was just like so out of it that he didn't even know.